I thought we could practice with the idea of the theme of allowing. And allowing, I guess, first really noticing. And so noticing, this is a practice that's really helpful for me when I can remember. And it's sort of noticing maybe at some point if I'm resisting something or I'm holding on to something, otherwise known as clinging to something that I want or I feel is, you know, somehow good. So just noticing that can, the clinging or the avoiding can build a lot of tension. And in Buddhist thinking, it's, you know, the second arrow. We already have pain with the loss of something, and then we can add to that sort of increasing our suffering by resisting it or wanting to hold on to something. So maybe somewhat relevant in the transition as we, as best we can, you know, recognize that things are changing. And can we notice how, if we're resisting it or holding on, which is normal, and maybe just creating space for it to be with us. So I'll offer a few cues as we go along, and also a little poem at the end that speaks to that. And if that doesn't resonate, then just lie on our mats and breathe. Okay, so let's begin that way. Lying in any comfortable shape on your back. Just beginning by landing so that we actually can notice. So just coming and finding any shape that feels comfortable. Legs could be long or knees could be bent. If the knees are bent, it can feel nice to knock your knees in to rest on one another. Or you can always be in a supine, reclined Baddha Konasana. If that's a more comfortable shape for you, you might want something to support the knees. So all levels, I'll just offer options as we go through. And so totally up to you just to tune in and investigate what is supported for you. So for now, just taking a deep breath through the nose and letting it out the mouth or any other way, softly or with a bit of force, just feeling for now and seeing what the body does, maybe a little bit on its own or a little bit of intention yourself. Checking in with our physical body, maybe just noticing or feeling the back of the body supported by the earth below. So maybe the back of the head, you feel the back of the head and you could rock it a little bit side to side. Side to side. Taking a breath and perhaps you feel the collarbones widen or just feeling your shoulder blades on the back, resting on the ground. Maybe there's a bit of the mid-back or the lower rib cage. And if there's little sensation, that's just something to notice as well. So there's no right or wrong. We're just noticing what's here. Feeling your pelvis, your legs, your feet. Checking in today with energy. Maybe there's sleepy or a little bit of worry or just neutral. So nothing to push away or search for, just maybe noticing what's already here. Mental and emotional landscape, just creating a little space. When you feel ready, beginning to deepen the breath, taking a long stretch, arms behind, legs long, if that feels good. Reaching in both directions, big breath in. You could point or flex your feet, squeeze your butt, and let it go. Maybe windshield your legs in and out, and you could even do that with your arms, just shaking a little, getting a little activation. Releasing that and letting that go. Bringing our right knee in towards the right chest and just giving a nice press onto the right shin. So just opening up through this right hip flexor, lengthening behind your neck maybe a little bit just by looking down the torso a little. Long, slow, even inhalation through the nose. Long, slow, even exhale, tuning into the body, just noticing rather than thinking as best you can, just feeling. And then let's bend the left knee, put the left foot on the floor and cross the right ankle over for a figure four. You could keep the left foot on the floor just to begin. If you want to take your right hand, you can just press it along the inside of your right inner thigh. That can maybe give you a little bit more length. Release the hip flexor a little more. And then if you like, you can thread the needle. So just taking your right hand through the space between the legs as you bring the left shin up. The right ankle, just making sure that's flexed a little bit to protect the knee. And tuning into where you feel it, just bringing your attention down and into the body, into the sensation, into the breath, maybe just noticing on the inhale where the sensation, maybe it increases, maybe softening on the exhale. You could rock a little side to side if you like. And then bringing the left foot down, uncrossing the right foot, just taking the left knee in and hug in and lengthen the right leg. So we're doing the other side now. You could bring your left thigh out a little wider than your torso. Sometimes that gets into another area in the front of the hip. Big breath in, softening through the face and eyes, just using the biceps a little bit to pull down, noticing any tension in the neck and just seeing if you can kind of work the biceps rather than the shoulders, just as best you can. Right knee is going to bend. We'll just cross the left ankle, taking a moment here, and then maybe just pressing along the inside of that left inner thigh. Big breath in as you're ready, coming to thread the needle if you like. Left foot is flexed, just maybe bringing your attention to the lower back, your tailbone, maybe the outer part of your left hip. You're welcome to rock a little side to side if that is supportive, feels like an opening or something juicy. And then right foot is going to come down, and then left foot is going to come down. It's going to bring our arms up towards the ceiling, widening through the feet. So the feet are as wide as the mat. Knees drop or wipe over to the left, the arms over to the right, taking a breath here. On your exhale, hugging the navel in, knees come through center, arms over to the left. So the feet are pretty wide. If that's comfortable for you, you could go at a slower or faster pace. We'll come through center, knees to left, arms to right. The elbows can be soft. And then one more time, knees to right. And then coming up, bringing the knees into chest, hugging in for a moment, and then knees to tabletop. Arms can come back towards the ceiling, palms face together, a little bit of opposite limbs as we activate through the core. So thinking about the navel and hugging it down a little bit without holding your breath. Left leg lengthens, right arm, so bicep by ear. The leg can be at any height. Maybe you feel something and that's, and just as long as it's not too much, not too little, not too much. Coming to center, left leg long, either pointing or flexing the foot on the left leg. Coming back to center, opposite limb, so hugging down. Just noticing, coming through, and then left side. Coming back to center. One more time, maybe experimenting the leg a little lower, a little higher, somewhere in the middle to center, And then left arm, right leg, coming back. Let's just bring our knees back to tabletop. Palms are on the thighs, pressing your hands into the thighs, and then just pulling your knees towards you without them moving. A little bit of resistance on the navel and the core. Breath in, exhale, releasing the resistance, taking a breath. And then once again, pressing legs into hands, hands into legs, navel to spine, lengthening the eye and the neck, and release. And then just one more time. You can add as much effort as you like or as little effort. And then release. Nice, just bring a little hug back in, a little rock. Let's roll over, coming onto the stomach, into a sphinx. So just in any way that you like, just to get a little stretch for the belly after that activation. So elbows are just apart. Breath here, and imagine you're tractioning your hands or pulling them back, navel to spine. You don't have to come very high, maybe a little bit of a belly stretch, taking a look to the right. Stretching through the left side of the neck, big breath here. Exhale, coming through center, looking over the opposite side, maybe not have much range at this point in this shape, that's okay. Coming back through center, lengthening up, and let's lengthen down. Using the palms, just one on top of the other as a pillow for your head, a little bit of upper back work here. Taking a breath here, navel to spine, legs can be separated or together, lifting the forehead up. So you can press the forehead, that same sort of idea when we have resistance to something, the tension increases, that idea. In this way, we're attempting to do that, but just noticing what happens when there's resistance. There's increased effort. So forehead into hands, hands pressing into forehead. Let your head be really heavy. You can lift the elbows up a little bit. If you're feeling tension in the lower back, this is mostly for your upper back. If there's tension or like a sharpness, coming down lower. Take a breath here, lengthen through the crown, and then come on down. We'll take a breath here, let everything go. See what it's like if we can release that tension. The body may want to hold on a little bit more. See if you can take another breath. So we activate and then we release. Taking a breath, we'll lift the forehead up again. Taking a breath here, lengthening behind the neck. So maybe you're looking a tiny bit down the towards the end of your mat, and then coming on down. This time we're going to bring our arms out straight. You can keep them under the forehead if it's not comfortable with the arms ahead. So we'll keep them ahead. We're going to do opposite limbs here. Left arm, right leg. So the opposite of what we did for the front, and then bringing those down. Lengthen through the right arm, the left leg to come up. I've got my forehead down, but if it's more comfortable for your forehead to be off, just hovering, that's okay too. Left side, left arm, right leg, lengthen, coming down. One more time, left arm, or left leg, right arm, coming down. If you like, you're welcome to lift the forehead off and lift all the limbs off. So arms and legs, we're in a super person position, and then swimming. And so you could be doing, you can continue with just the one-sided lifts, opposite limbs, or a little bit of swimming for 5 and 4, breathing 3 and 2 and 1, bringing it all down, hands under forehead, just let your hips swish a little side to side. Side to side, the hips just swishing to release any grabbing or holding in the lower back. Big breath in. Letting it go. Legs can come together now, coming into a cobra. So just a little bit of a different shape and a little lower in the back, perhaps, than what we were just doing. So legs can come together, just one expression or one version of cobra. Anywhere you'd like to have your hands under the chest, or you can have them further to the sides. Taking a breath here. And if it's okay, we'll take 2 more breaths. You could come down earlier if you like. Just floating with the breathing, the inhale, the body may rise a little bit. And on the exhale, maybe there's a little lowering. 1 more breath. On the exhale, lowering yourself all the way down and then coming up and back into a child's shape. So child's posture, any expression of that you like. So it could be active with the hands flat and the elbows off, or you could have softness in the elbows, just letting the shoulders release a little bit, just taking a breath into the middle and lower part of your back. As you're ready, walking the hands over to the left so the hips can sort of just fall off the side of your right ankle or heel, coming into a half circle here. Big breath in. Exhale, softening, releasing. Allowing the breath to be the anchor for your attention, coming through center and over to the other side. Your forehead can rest on the mat, or maybe it wants to rest on your right bicep. Left hip can just slip off. Coming back through center, back up onto hands and knees, tabletop. Little cat and cow here. So inhaling into your cow. Exhaling, pressing the hands down, shins down, top of feet down, navel to spine. Extra in breath here, and then exhaling. And you may be in a different breath sequence, that's totally fine. We're just doing a couple of cat and cows. If you want to bring some movement into that, bringing the hips back on the cat. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Maybe 1 more round of cat and cow. And then just regular tabletop. You might want to walk your knees back a little bit for some hip circles. We'll just drop the hips to the right, to the front, to the left, to the back left. So just a circular motion, feeling that maybe in the side of the hips or the inner thighs. It can be big circles or little circles. And then when you feel ready, reversing the direction of the circles. One more round like that. And then coming into tabletop. Just a little bit of threading the needle to get some twists into our warm-up. So inhale, it's not really a warm-up, it's lots of activation here. So core work, opening up the left side, exhale. Just like a gradual increasing of effort and engagement. It's our second threading the needle. Inhale, opening up right from the navel. Exhale, under, twisting from the navel here, placing the hand down. We'll go to the other side. You can always use a block if that's helpful on your solid hand or your supporting hand. Exhale. Inhale, opening up. Exhaling, scooping under and over to the left. Last time, opening up. Exhale, scooping under, twisting from the navel, and then replacing that hand. Let's bring our knees back into parallel if they've widened a little bit. Mine seem to in that. So curling the toes under, inhale, navel to spine, hovering the knees, and then coming up into the first downward dog for today's class. I'm just going to pedal it out, opening up through the back of the legs and the calves. tuning your attention into the feeling. So nothing to figure out. Allowing the body to open. And then as you're ready, equal weight in both legs. Just letting your neck release as best you can. So each of these are cues, something to consider. They're not prescriptions. Your practice. As you're ready, coming into a high plank. Taking a moment here in high plank. Shoulders over, wrists, heels pressing back. Knees tap down, shifting shoulders past the wrists to lower down. Inhaling into one cobra. Exhaling, lengthening down. Inhale, back to child's posture for one cycle of breath. And then as you're ready, we'll begin to flow in that sequence, coming into tabletop with the inhale. Exhale, toes curl, hips press back, downward dog. You're welcome to go faster or slower. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, knees tap, lower down. Inhale, long, slow, even inhale, widening collarbones into cobra. Exhale, lengthening all the way down. Inhale, up and back, child's posture. One cycle of breath. Last one like this, coming into tabletop. Exhale, toes curl, hips press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, knees tap, you could lower, chaturanga. Inhale into cobra, widening collarbones. Exhale, lengthening even longer on the way down. Inhale, up and back into child's posture. One cycle of breath. Inhale, coming to tabletop, curling toes under, downward facing dog for 3 counts. You're welcome to be on your forearms if that's preferred, if your wrists feel like they need a break at any time, or you could come into a child's posture. Taking a breath here. The right leg is going to reach up. Just take a breath here. You could open the hip if you like. We'll square the hips if they're open, bringing the knee to nose to hover here, just hugging the navel up, and anyway, stepping through into a low lunge, squeezing your inner thighs together. Maybe your hips rise in that way. Let's inhale and come into a twist, just from the navel, just like threading the needle. Breath here, 3 circles of the arms. That's 1, doesn't matter what direction. 2, continuing to squeeze the legs, and that's 3. We'll place the hand down, tap the back knee down. Take a breath here. Maybe you want to sink a little bit into the hips for a little extra stretch. Exhale, coming to a higher kneeling. Inhale, arms reach to the sky, clasping the left wrist with the right fingers. If you want a little bit of a extra stretch for the front of your right thigh, we just come over to the side, leaning or half moon to the right. Inhale, reaching back up to the sky. Exhale, hands behind, clasping, and then reach your sternum, your chest to the sky. You can look up if you like. You could bring your hands away if you feel like that would be giving you if you want a little bit more in the chest. Releasing that, hands rise one more time. Hands frame the front foot. And then we come back and lift the knee up. Step the right foot back into high plank. Just taking a breath here. Exhale back to your downward facing dog, taking a cycle of breath. You could always be on your hands and knees here instead. One more breath. Left leg rises up. You can open the hip if that feels good to begin. Squaring the hip, knee comes to nose. Hover that and scoop up the belly, stepping through. Scissors squeezing the thighs together. Inhale, let's open or peel it up. If that's not comfortable on the shoulder, you can always keep your hand behind your head or maybe even on your back. 3 cycles or 3 circles. 1, 2, and 3. Planting that hand down, tapping the back knee down, flattening the top of the foot. Big breath into the front right hip is maybe where you feel it, like the hip flexor. And then coming to a taller kneeling. Inhale, reaching the arms, clasping the right wrist, and then up and over as if we're standing in a half moon. Dropping the shoulders away as best you can. Inhale, coming up, strong core, clasping hands behind you. Inhale, reaching chest up. Hands can come away from the lower back if you like. Releasing that. Inhale, reach one more time to the sky, tail drops. Exhale, hands down. Lifting the right knee off, stepping back in any way into high plank. Taking a breath here. Coming back into downward facing dog. 3 counts here. You're welcome to, again, be in a tabletop or a child's posture if you prefer. It's 1. Softening through the face and eyes, letting the neck go. You can have as much bend in the knees as feels good. That's 2. And that's 3. Let's bend through the knees to walk all the way to the front of the mat into a forward fold. So letting your torso rest on your legs as much as you can, and just let your head, so shaking it, yes, nodding it, no. Breath here. And then we'll bring hands to shins to lift halfway, getting a stretch maybe through the hamstrings. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold. This time we'll inhale to a tall standing. Inhale, reach. Exhaling, hands to heart center. 3 half surya A's or sun breaths. A little salute to the sun to bring it out this week. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hinging forward just from your hips, a little bend in your knees. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Let's repeat. Inhaling a sun breath. Exhaling, hinge. Inhale, hands to shins, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold. Pressing into the ball and the heel of the feet to reach all the way up. The tail drops. Exhale, hands to heart center. 1 round just in the breath count. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Let's add on to full surya A. You can take it at your own pace, slower or faster than me. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale as knees bend, stepping 1 foot and then the other back into high plank. Knees can tap or shift forward and lower down chaturanga. Inhale into your expression of the back bend. Exhaling through your transition. Coming into downward facing dog whenever you're ready. 3 counts. Tuning into the breath. Nothing to figure out, nothing to make happen, just being and breathing. It's 2. And that's 3. At the end of the exhale, taking a look at the end of the mat. Stepping or hopping or step, step, step. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold, pressing into the feet. Inhale, reach. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Repeating surya A. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, bending knees, opposite steps back if you can remember. Coming through your transition vinyasa. Not rushing yourself, just feeling the body moving and breathing. Downward facing dog. That's one. It's two. And that's three. At the end of the exhale, stepping or hopping. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Pressing into the feet to reach all the way up. Exhaling hands to heart center. One last Surya A in your own time, your own count. We'll meet in mountain standing at the top of our mat. Rushing yourself, meeting at the top of the mat. If you're already there, just taking in the sensations in the body, just or the entirety of your body standing in this shape. We'll come and do one round of Surya B. So coming into Utkatasana whenever you're ready. We'll take 3 counts of breath here. You could be at any height you like. That's 1. Softening through the face or eyes. That's 2. Feeling some heat, just allowing that. Not resisting or pushing, just being. And then hinging to forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, step it on back. Going through the vinyasa, or you go right to down dog. Inhale, coming to down dog. Right leg lifts, knee comes to nose, hovering, step it through, pivot the back, heel in. Inhaling, warrior 1. Taking your time, we'll take 3 counts in our warrior 1. You're welcome to be up higher or lower. Seeing if you can feel a little bit of the heat or sensation, and maybe allowing space for that, even if it's just a softening in the face or eyes, just noticing. One more breath, unplugging the back foot and flowing through the vinyasa or going directly to downward dog. Coming to down dog, left leg reaches, knee comes to nose to hover, step it through, pivot the back, heel in. Taking your time to come into your warrior 1. Squaring the hips as best you can. Navel comes back a little bit. 3 counts here, maybe feeling some of that heat. It's 1. You're always welcome to come out earlier than the count. 2. Softening face, eyes, and that's 3. Unplugging the back foot to flow through. Long, slow, even inhale. Long, slow, even exhale. The breath, the most important. Balancing the nervous system. Taking a look when you're ready at the end of the mat. And stepping or hopping. Coming to lift halfway. And then fold. Taking a breath here and coming into Utkatasana, 3 counts, a little bit of heat, building a little resilience in our nervous system for difficult sensations. That's 1. You could be up higher, that's 2. And that's 3. Standing it up, if the legs are together, you could just separate the legs and noticing without having to sort of get rid of something too quick, just noticing what's present, seeing if we can allow it. Just allowing maybe that little extra heart rate, it'll slow itself down. Hands to waist, feet together, knees bent, or feet could be apart, and then step it on back. So we're in a high lunge, hands at waist, taking a breath here into high lunge. As you're ready, opening it up, warrior 2. Finding your stance here, we'll take 3 breaths here. The body, you can sort of allow the body just to pulse. And the inhale, maybe it lifts up or the body expands out. Exhale, a softening. Just one more breath in warrior 2. And then reverse in warrior, reaching towards the sky or a little bit back. Inhale back to warrior 2, straightening out the front leg, the hips will go back as we begin to move to Trikonasana. Navel to spine. We're closing the little gap between the lower rib cage and the hip bone. Breath here. Micro bend behind the right knee and then lifting yourself up. Coming back to warrior 2. In any way that you can, we'll come back to a high lunge here. Coming into high lunge. Tapping the back knee down. We'll go towards a twist towards the right, left elbow on the outside. So maybe opening up, you could just use your hand as well. Opening a little space, hands could come into prayer. Lots of effort and balance here. You're welcome to curl the back toes under, lift the knee off. Just continue to squeeze the hips or the inner thighs together so the hips sort of are a little more square. The knees down, we're just breathing here. Taking a breath, inhale, back up. Exhale, plant the hands down, step back into a high plank. Coming back to a downward dog, that's 3 counts here. You could come into child's posture as a different variation on downward dog. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. Just taking a look and stepping forward. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold, pressing into the feet to reach up. Exhaling, hands to heart center, just taking a breath here. Softening through the face, feeling your breath. Hands coming to the waist, little bend in the knees as we step back this time with the right side. Coming into high lunge with our hands at the hips. Inhaling, just taking a breath here. Exhaling, we'll open it to warrior 2. Inhaling into reverse warrior. Exhaling back to warrior 2, straightening out the front leg. Hips move towards the back of the mat. Reaching through the left side and then your arms cartwheel. Little bend behind the left knee. Taking a breath here. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale back to warrior 2, taking a breath. In any way that you can, we'll just come back into the high lunge. You may have to wiggle the left foot around. Taking a breath here. Right knee is going to tap down this time. Flattening the foot. Inhale, reaching the right arm up and twisting from the navel. Exhaling, left elbow or whatever else is helpful for leverage into your twist. So I like to lift back a little bit with my navel so I can get the twist. You're welcome to tuck the back toes and lift the knee and scissor squeeze the thighs together. Taking a breath here. Right knee taps down whenever you're ready. Inhale, back, reaching up to the sky. Exhale, hands plant down, curl the back toes under, step the left foot back, and then coming into downward facing dog or child's posture for 3 counts. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. Tiptoeing all the way to the front of the mat. Coming into a forward fold. Shaking your head, so nodding it yes, shaking it no. You can let your lips be really loose, bend in the knees. Inhale through the nose and exhale. Nice strong exhale out the mouth. Another time if that felt supportive and helpful. Taking a moment. We're going to begin to ragdoll roll. Taking a breath, an extra breath maybe, halfway. And coming to standing, just rolling the shoulders back. Let's take a step out to the left here, coming into a goddess shape. Now, so take your time to sort of find a stable stance, sumo goddess. You can move a little back and forth, bring the hands to heart center. Again, just practicing allowing maybe a little heat to build, softening, or creating space. Let's do a little flying goddess. So inhale, stretch up. Exhale, hands out. Inhale, hands to heart. And exhale. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, bend. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale for nothing. Last one. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, bend. Inhale, stretch. Exhale for nothing. Let's straighten the legs, pivot the legs so they're parallel with the short sides of the mat. Hands can come to waist. Reaching up, the tail can lengthen, and then hinging at the hips. Just as if we're coming into a forward fold, but the legs are in a wider angle. Wide angle, forward fold. Bending a little bit through the knees, just so we're not hyper-extending or overstretching the back of the knees, the tendons or ligaments. When you're ready, just bringing the hands down the sides of your legs and then under the crown of the head. We'll inhale to lift halfway. And exhale to fold. You're welcome to be on fingertips or on your knuckles or on a block. Let's bend through the right knee. Just pressing through the outer edge of your left foot. If it isn't too much, if you feel a lot of pull around the knee, don't press on the outside of the pinky toe side of the left foot. Might just be too much. Straightening out the right side, left knee is going to bend. You could press the outside of the pinky side of your right foot. One more time, left. And one more time to the opposite side. Coming back to center, we're going to heel toe. Coming into a squat of any variation. So you could be up high. You could have your bottom on a block, supporting that, or depending on your hips, you may be a little lower down. Everybody's hips and torso and everything is so different. So one of the things that is not helpful is the comparing mind. It's built that way for good reasons, but not in comparing our squats. And so if you like, you can bring your hands to the ground, placing the right hand by the right knee and lifting up just through the opposite arm. That might feel comfortable, or maybe it doesn't. So you just stay here. Bringing that hand down if it was up, and then a little opening if you like. You could try with your hand behind your head. Big breath here. Exhale, releasing in any way that you can, coming onto your bottom, lengthening the legs and giving them a nice wrap. Just pound or pump them onto the ground for 3, 2, you can exhale, and 1. Nice, just wiggling them in and out, in and out. Let's place our feet wider than the mat, similar to what we did reclined, and the hands are just going to be behind us. We'll drop our knees to the left. See if you can keep your right butt cheek a little close to the ground. So it could come off, and then you'd stretch the front of the leg, which is fine. If it's moving towards the ground, you get more of a glute stretch, or the femur bone sort of easing in the hip socket, which can help to release the lower back sometimes. Let's release that and go to the other side. So again, you can bring your hips way up, no problem, if you want to stretch in your front of your hip or your thigh. If you feel like you're curious, you can bring your left bum, so to just keep moving it towards the ground. It's a subtle sensation, so just do your best. If you notice confusion or irritation, just allowing space for that. And then we'll release that. Let's bring our feet in the opposite way then into Baddha Konasana. So bottom of the feet together, feeling your sits bones, imagining your crown of the head is rising really high, and then just hinging at the hips. Taking 3 cycles of breath here. So you could press the inner thighs, away if that feels like you want a little bit more opening. Or you could be really soft with the face and the eyes and the effort, and just leaning forward a little bit. One more breath here. Lengthening all the way up. I'm just going to bring our legs into a wider V. It doesn't have to be immensely wide. We're just going to do a little stretching for the sides of the body. You can also have a bend in the knee, or even a towel under the knees. We'll take our right hand right somewhere in the inside of our right leg, and we'll just turn our torso a bit towards the left. Inhale, reach up through the left arm, and exhale, just lifting up and over towards the right side. Attention, bring it down into your left sits bone. Taking a breath here, you can be sort of in a side bend, or the chest can be a little more towards the ceiling. If you feel tension in the back off on the depth of your stretch. And then let's come back up. We're going to square our torso towards the right leg, and then we'll just lengthen over that right leg. Doesn't have to be that deep. It's really a stretch where you also for the lower back. So trying to keep your sits bones or your bottom on the ground rather than rolling it too far forward. Again, just feeling it yourself. Wherever you feel stressed, just breathing into that. Walking yourself up when you're ready. Left hand this time on the inside of the left leg. I'm going to turn our torso a bit towards the right. I like to just press my hand into the ground, a little bit of leverage to reach up now through the right side. Thinking about or bringing your attention into your right sit bone, just coming over, up and over to a side stretch a little bit. Big breath in. Exhale, softening. As you're ready, we're just going to lengthen ourselves up and turn like a corkscrew towards the left. Then as you're ready, just lengthening through the waist as best you can. You can have your hands down along the side. You could be using a strap. Left glute and right glute as best you can, having them both on the ground. And then just softening here. We'll take 2 more full cycles of breath. And then lengthening all the way up, bringing the legs in, just shaking them out a little, just whatever. Let the legs jiggle, jaggle, jello. Okay. And whenever you're ready, coming down onto the back body, giving yourself a little hug here. We'll plant the left foot down, take the hands behind your right hamstring and just a kick towards the ceiling. You're welcome to lengthen the left leg if that feels supported for you. Just taking your breath into the hamstring as best you can, just breathing and being. You can flex and point the foot, maybe circles in one direction and then the other. If the left leg is long, just bending that leg, bringing the right foot down, knee bent, bringing the left leg in, holding behind the left hamstring, a lengthening of the leg towards the ceiling. You can lengthen through the right side if that is comfortable for you. If you feel back tension or it just doesn't feel right, or it's really bent and your neck is feeling awkward, then just keep that right foot on the floor. Circling the ankle on the left, one direction, and then the other. Bending through the knee, right knee bends, left foot comes on the floor. Just do one round of bridge. Let's begin just by feeling our back, our sacrum actually on the ground. We'll do a couple of pelvic rocks. So right now, spine is probably in neutral, taking a breath in. On the exhale, bringing your navel back to the back of your spine, hugging it back, and then the pubic bone will lift or turn towards the ceiling. Exhale, releasing that, letting it dump forward a little bit extra so the tail kind of, you come to the edge of your tail. If this doesn't make sense, we're just rocking the pelvis, tilting pubic bone to ceiling, and then releasing the pelvis. You can sort of roll it forward. If that doesn't make sense, then it's just my description. Coming back with the pubic bone, up, and then releasing that. And this time we're going to hug the navel back and begin to peel all the way up. So we're into a bridge. You can have both arms alongside you, widening the collarbones. Imagine the knees coming toward the end of the mat, so we're lengthening through the hips. You could clasp your hands together and roll one shoulder and then the other if you like. Wherever you're at, you could also have a block under your sacrum in a more restorative variation. We'll take 3 counts of breath wherever you're at. You're welcome to release your bridge whenever, if you want to come out earlier. It's 1. It's 2. And that's 3. In your own time, if the shoulders are under you, rolling them out, and then vertebrae by vertebrae. Just allowing the spine to roll down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Last thing to come down is your tailbone. Our last shape before Shavasana, just bringing your arms to T or cactus. We'll twist, with just bringing the knees to tabletop and a recline twist with the knees over to the right. We'll do both sides, so if your knees went the other way, that's fine too. You can look over the opposite arm. We'll take 2 cycles of breath here. Seeing if you can just let the shape in gravity and the breath support your twist. When you feel ready in your own time, bringing your knees to center and then dropping them over to the other side. Knees to the left or whichever your opposite side is, looking over. Taking one more cycle of breath here. As you're ready, coming through center. If there's any shapes or movements you'd like to take before Shavasana, you could do that now. Stretching your legs or your arms long, anything that comes to naturally to you. If you want to rub the hands together, get a little bit of heat, and then just allowing the hands to rest on the eyes, just the eye sockets. Maybe you feel a little heat or just the darkness, shade from the lights. In your own time, beginning to release into Shavasana. I'll just offer you a poem and you can just allow it to wash over you as you move towards Shavasana. Nothing to figure out, just maybe it resonates. Just letting it come and go. The poem is titled Allow. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam the stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild and the weak, fear, fantasies, failures, and successes. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. You're welcome to stay as long as is supportive for you in Shavasana. If you feel ready to transition, just taking your time, no need to rush. Finding any shape you'd like to take to close or seal the practice together. Just taking a moment to reconnect with your physical body. And you're just taking a breath in and a breath out. A moment of gratitude for yourself for taking the time to take care of you. And gratitude for this practice, our community. And may we share the benefits of this practice with all those in our lives and all beings. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you for coming. I gotta stop the recording somehow. There we go.